You are not going to be able to learn a language and love it unless you know the culture and society that that language binds together. In my journey to immerse myself in Tamil, for the purely selfish reasons of having Tamil reflect in my personal writing, I have been reading English translations of Tamil stories. For those who may not be aware, I consider myself fluent in speaking and understanding Tamil, but reading in it is outside of my skill set. I can barely read road signs and advertisements when traveling in Tamil Nadu, and I'm often saved by the English written right beneath the Tamil. You could blame my parents for that, but I'm old enough now where you can point your fingers at me instead. Thanks to English translations, I have been reading ancient writing like the Kambaramayanam and Tirukural, and modern writing like the stories of K. Rajanarayanan, Jayamohan, Nanjil Nathan, Bhavachaladurai, Suchitra, A. Muthulingam, K.V. Shailaja, Charu Nivedita, and, of course, Jayakanthan. He is the man, the writer, the activist we are here today to honor with words and music. It is extremely sentimental, but if there's one thing I can proudly say about Tamil people is that we are extremely dramatic and sentimental. It's in our blood, like many other things I will be discussing. I was able to read Jayakanthan's stories in English due to the efforts of the translator Andy Sunderasan. Because of his excellent work, I was able to read Jayakanthan's stories as Jayakanthan's stories. As far as I can tell, the translator did not let his personal biases intentionally or unintentionally alter the stories with censorship or mistranslation. The heart and soul made it through, is what I'm saying. So thank you. When naming some of Jayakanthan's stories, I will be using Andy Sunderasan's translated titles. I hope you'll bear with me for that. The heart and soul in many of Jayakanthan's stories is an unflinching criticism of Tamil society. He lived among those who have been dealt an unfair hand and were kept stifled by society, and his heart bled for them. He then took that blood and wrote with it. This action, that I will argue was a labor of love, caused him to be heavily criticized by the very culture and society he was trying to improve. When you love someone or something, when you truly love it, you do not constantly heap it with praise. You do not coddle them and kiss their cheeks no matter what they do. No. When they do something wrong, you tell them. You expect them to be better. Love is not putting them on a pedestal so that you can constantly give them a palabhishekam. It is keeping them at your side so that you may hug them when needed, or look them in the eye and yell at them when needed. That is what Jayakanthan did for Tamil. Ours is a culture of treating your guests like a god, of feeding them before you feed yourself. It is a culture where your friend's mother is your mother. It is a culture where a child has the beautiful blessing of being raised by its parents' siblings, and its grandparents. It is a culture of sarcasm and teasing. It is a culture of punch dialogues and melodramatic monologues. It is a culture where someone can be a stranger at 1 second, but some distant familial connection is found by caste or by blood, and suddenly you have a new sister or aunt. There is so much love and affection to be found in Tamil and its people. If I, an individual who has spent the majority of their life in America, can see and adore that, then of course Jayakanthan saw it as well. All of the lovely features of Tamil culture can be found in his stories, but as they are mixed in with valid criticism, Jayakanthan's bad faith critics discard him and his work. Let's be honest here. As a modern reader, nothing he talked about is new. Everything Jayakanthan is criticizing is still present. Tamil society and culture has improved. I won't be so cynical as to deny that. However, as I read his stories, there wasn't a single moment where I thought, wow, things used to be so bad. Nope, everything was familiar. The obtuse social customs, the wealth inequality, the asinine expectations that individuals have for each other in the name of family, the list goes on. Trial by Fire, one of Jayakanthan's most controversial stories, could take place in 2023 and people would still get mad at it. Is that not absolutely ridiculous? In that story, a woman is raped and her mother gives her a bath, deeming her cleansed. and then tells her to move on with her life. That's it. That's what people were mad at back in the day. Jayakanthan was pointing out how wrong it would be to blame the victim and in that situation, and how it is the duty of the victim's mother to continue to love and support her. That's what people would still be mad at, and if you believe otherwise, you are not paying attention to the world. In the lunch boxes, a poor woman is unable to raise 5 rupees to pay her son's school fees. She dies of hunger and dehydration after saving only 3 rupees, and the son is forced to drop out and go to work in a smithy. In many angles, many views, a man who has given everything to bring his sisters and mother out of poverty is denied the woman he loves because his family believed the exaggerated rumors surrounding the woman, and his family was worried for their precious reputation. What makes Jayakanthan special is the time period he wrote in. It's easier to say what he said and do what he did in 2023 than it was in his day. He couldn't just log on to Twitter or WhatsApp and have some stranger proselytize about what the world's faults. He had to read the right books, seek out and follow the guidance of the right individuals, have the brains to think for himself, and these are the most important, have empathy and strength. The empathy to see his fellow humans suffering and feel their pain as his own. The strength to write about and demand a better world. It is Jayakanthan's empathy and strength that drew in loyal readers despite the critics. It is why we are all here today. We are not the ones that read his work and become offended. We are the ones that understand that if your father is yelling at you, there's probably a reason. We get upset that our father is yelling, and it's quite possible we cry, but we listen because we know our father loves us. And